think we need to change the music for the season 4.
Of course. Many new. Our marketing team is hands-on to prepare all the content for the multimedia backgrounds for the
Left and your
season.
right
It is
hand.
somebody
Very
working.
good. That's okay. Hello, Enrique. How are you today?
Hey Peter, happy Friday to everyone. I'm good. Thanks. Hope you do the same. We are excited here. 3 episodes to go and close the season with this one. So
Yeah.
time to really gather up, sum up everything, and pull out all our thoughts towards the new direction of the season 4, starting hopefully by the end of the summer. So yeah, only 3 to
Guys,
go.
this will be the very specific, very special recording which you will just be able to see at 10:30, because usually our guest, he is interviewing people, okay, and we were just this time we give him a hard time. Usually he's giving a hard time to the guests, and we just reverse the roles, and we ask him a lot of questions. So that was one of the good change, I think, and it was really good. I really like the idea of the discussion with our guests. And so who we will have today?
So we have the pleasure to have among us today Aarni Heiskanen. He's a well-known agent on the construction industry. He works as a consultant and innovation agent, formerly an architect, and he runs many different podcasts, also shows, and creating content through his website and blog, AEC magazine. So take a look there, and also share the stuff you might be interested from his content as well, to give a heads up and say, hey, what you happening to BIM Cafe really helped me to know more about you. So that will give us also some kudos for ourselves. So this interview is gonna be basically talking about what we do, the talking in the construction industry. What's the need of communicating in the construction industry? Because we are technical minds with structure inside that, and we usually don't know how to communicate and express ourselves to make understand easier. So this is why Aarni is trying to do. This is why we're trying to do with the BIM Cafe from a year already. So it's going to be very interesting as Peter said.
So before you will just we will go forward, guys. Please make sure that Enrique, if you can just show the image on the left side. Please subscribe. So just if you can scan it, we can see it online if you scan it, guys. So this is really just kind of like a motivating for us, because we can see the counter of the scans coming. It's really good. Okay, so I think the guys who just prepared the streaming tool they really just thought through this. So subscribe, and of course you can just join our LinkedIn. On the last episode we discussed it with one of the episodes we discussed it that we would like to reach 10,000. We still don't know why we would like to reach 10,000, because it's a nice number, I believe it, and it's proof that we are doing the right things and the people are just listening.
Beautiful round-up number, yeah.
Of course, it's a 10,000. So, but let's just shoot for the 10,000 by the end of the month. That's our goal, and help us just to launch the season 4 in the September and this year, so after vacation. That's the word which I'm repeating very often recently. Yeah.
Probably you can wait for that, no? Well, so let's start with the content of today's presentation. As I said, we were going to discuss mostly about communication and the need to make statements and also communicate and collaborate better on the industry. But first, as Aarni is also architect and has a bit of experience in the construction industry itself, in the building sector, we asked them about, as a warm-up question, what are the needs of the industry and what could we see as things moving forward? No? So this is it was a good starting point for Oasis view and to start to dig on deeper on those details. So let's go and watch the first clip. What do you think, Peter?
Let's go. Yes. And you can watch it 10:30.
It needs to be industrialized. And I mean that we have two ways to industrialize. One is to create products that are like products. So instead of having unique projects every time, we can actually start developing products like an apartment building or a hotel or a school or hospital, road or bridge and so on. So if we start developing products, then we also have to think about how we produce those products, and that's the industrialized process, which means that instead of doing everything like in a manual workshop every time, we start to think of processes more like a manufacturing process, and that's that will give us the tools and the incentives to actually develop something in the long term, instead of just doing everything. Because even though you can develop for yourself wonderful processes and tools, if the next process is totally different and the totally different players and totally different rules of the game, you cannot use them effectively. So that's my recipe would be to start thinking of the process more like an industrialized manufacturing process.
Yeah.
And there have been companies, like recently I read about a UK company that is systematizing the production without any factories. So they are developing a process and tools for systematizing the construction process. And I think that may be one of the ways to go. So instead of having your own factory, why not have a standard way of doing things so that any factory can produce those products in general? But one of the things, when we have seen the best results from collaboration and digitalization, they come from what we called allianced projects, or IPD, integrated project deliveries, and in those projects there is the shared incentive. You share the risks and the rewards. Everybody on the project shares the risks and rewards, and that has been the decisive factor that then they start collaborating. They start using BIM and standardizing the processes and controlling them. So that may be one of the answers, that instead of having bidding on every little part of the project, let's have a project where everybody shares the risks and rewards. And then I think that will move the needle towards a more industrialized and controlled process.
This is, even if you look at my body language on the video, I think I really like it what he was saying. So it's just, I think the big part of sharing the risk and sharing the benefits, I think that's really completely in it. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it's very interesting, those two parts. First of all, industrialization, moving forward for that, and Aarni shares the idea of why is that you have your factory and do your things, why you don't create your standardized process, and you can replicate them on any factory. So you don't need to have this. You can have a massive hub factories that produce for different manufacturers. You just give them the instruction and they do it for you. Very interesting thoughts coming there as well, right? And also the idea of sharing those risks and benefits of a project makes everyone motivated through to gain the most, because it's going to be a win-win situation if the things go.
correct. Very good one. I agree.
So let's. I think we lost a bit the connection with Peter. Can I hear you, Peter?
Yes, I'm here. You're
Okay, so
with me.
if freeze a bit, sorry for that. Well, so happy with that, right? Like you were happy with overall with the content of Aarni's and agreeing with all
Yeah,
this.
that was very good. I like it very much. I hope, guys, you can hear us. So just if you cannot hear us or you cannot see us, just ping it on the chat. Sometimes we are lost in the translation here, so just we cannot see it. We know if there is any technical issues. So let us know, ping us, chat with us, and we will see. How.
And say hello. Say hello too. It's nice. It's nice to say hey, hello from here.
Hello, Enrique.
Good. Well, let's move forward. Arnic's experience started a while ago, and we asked him basically about what is BIM implementation. Still warming up. We'll go to the communication part after. And he said, well, you know what? I experienced what we see now with BIM. I experienced before with CAD. And of course, CAD has been widely without any doubts fully implemented. And now it's the turn of BIM to taking over. So what are the difference between those two roles of implementing BIM, implementing CAD? What is BIM missing from that guideline of implementation that was successful for CAD? Let's take a look and listen to Aarni's view on this.
One of the leading innovations or disruptions. In fact, BIM is, I would say, more like an evolution from CAD. So CAD taught us how to use digital tools to design and how to communicate with each other. Nowadays, I think that what we are now seeing, digital tools used especially for construction is quality, safety, CDEs, document management, progress reporting, and so on. So CAD is still there, but now it's moving to the construction side also.
If we compare both implementations on the industry, of course, with the time gap, what is being missing to not have such an adoption as CAD?
Maybe it's because the benefits from BIM come from I would say the intelligent use of data, and that's something that we haven't been able to standardize. So data that is used in BIM models is oftentimes it's very company specific, so it's really hard to utilize that information across companies. I think that is one of the problems that we're having. Question is always, if I'm investing in some technology, for example, if I'm an architect and I don't get the benefits from from the use of that data that I create, who gets the benefits? It's oftentimes, unfortunately, in construction that those who pay don't get the benefits eventually.
That's kind of like a normal. Those who pays get the benefits. so yeah. I think we have some issue with the videos, guys, today. So it's just I hope it's okay. It's clear for you guys, but on our side from the back end we see some problems. So just let us know if everything's okay. Sorry, Aarni, for it's happened on your side, but the full the 1 hour discussion of Aarni will be released at 10:30, guys. So just do not worry. This one is perfectly well done, so you can just see it without any problem and interruptions. If right now we have some issues, it's sorry for that. We're thinking about
This is the period of life. Yeah.
It's just sometimes maybe it's our bandwidth. It's so our content is so heavy that kills the bandwidth for our servers which we're using. So sorry for that. Yeah, no, I think that one of the implementation problems which you mentioned is the benefits and about the usage of the data as you saw. It's a very interesting concept, and we just share it on the season 1 and season 2 as well. That the data is a key element of the BIM part related to the benefits which you can get it out of it. Yeah.
As well, the part was at the end of getting the benefits and so on is that for BIM still is not fully clear what are the benefits for them. So many people still, and as Peter discovered last season, like, okay, BIM is not bringing me any money, so why should I pay for that? While CAD had a clear implementation that is going to save you time. You need to take your pencil and go anymore, no? So you can do it with the AutoCAD or the computer, and it really saves you time. So those unclear benefits, let's call it, is basically the main reason why BIM is not going at the same speed, following the same exact path as CAD did a few years ago.
Exactly.
So we jump about communication. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go. This is always the one of the good discussion, and I think thanks to Aarni, we have a couple of ideas of the next episode, so that's very good. Very fruitful discussion. Aarni, thank you very much for being with us as well on this one. So it's really just help us to realize the what we would like to go for the future season. So that's really thanks to you. So congratulations.
Thanks, Aarni, again. So let's watch the first clip and the main core of this interview, and it's about communication and the need to communicate well in the construction industry.
Unfortunately, many companies still think that communication is a press release, and they are terrible and awful to read. So I what I suggest is that you start talking to your audience, or actually building an audience. That is the one thing that I suggest. So what we call content marketing, and the idea is that when people know you, who you are, if you're talking as a person, not as a corporation, and you build trust, people like you, they start trusting you, what you're saying. And I think that is one of the main things in communication, that because there is so much fake communication, fake news, fake even fake personalities. So being authentic and giving a voice to your company, of course, is really essential, I think. And when people see you, they start trusting. Like I'm assuming, for example, that what you're doing on the podcast, I think people know you and they start liking you and trusting you, what you're saying, and the guests that you're having. So and as likewise, I have been interviewing people. So I have been doing podcasting for over 10 years now, almost 11 years. The same with the blog. So I've just been doing out of my own interest at first, and now I've used it as a service also for our customers, our clients. So I think that you now you have a chance to reach the audience through social media. But also one thing that I would advise companies to do is to build their own, let's say, brand media in a way. So not just relying totally on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, but also build their own media assets, so to speak. And that's something that I found really seldom happen with this. They don't really understand yet the idea of having your own media in your company. They can think that every company is a technology company, but that every company would be a media company. That's a really radical idea in this industry.
My God, 10 years. So you see, it's really, that's the reason why he's so fluid with all of the challenging questions which we ask him, and just getting through this very smoothly. I realize 10 years it's a moment when you really mature your content in the way how you deliver it. So it's a couple of
Totally,
years
totally.
we still need to go, Enrique.
I remember you liked the statement that communication in the construction industry is not just a press release. I like it. I put it here on the headlines, because many companies just think that, yeah, okay, we are releasing some news. Okay, we do this, we do that. Our market growth is that, and the thing is just communication and just press. It's not that. It's creating an audience, engaging with them, telling the story, make them feel that they are in a way inside and understanding everything that goes through the company
Yeah,
processes. No? So this is a way of communicating, as Arni said,
this
well,
is,
through different channels.
yeah, I think, Enrique, this is really going through the back to the what we discussed with some of our guests. This is this, some of the companies are very small, right? It's a 10 to 40, 50 people. So it's just that there is no time of looking at all of the aspects of, what's the communication, what's the marketing, etc. It's most
Yeah.
important to deliver daily jobs, right? So just really operations, delivering job, operations, getting new clients. So you don't really concentrate on this, and that's not really something which you will pay a lot of attention. So maybe that's also the reason why the fragmentation do not brings the good communication practices.
That's true. That's true. But also to the fact that this part of the communication is a way that people don't have time to do that. More basically on the small and medium enterprises, you will stand out if you're able to create those that communication channel for you. So there's an opportunity there, because what is clear is that, again, technical people, we don't have the mindset for communication as other ones are. So it's something we really need to go through. No? Well, jumping into the next topic, still talking about the communication. We can see how this is changing, and Arni is pointing out that the so-called context, the construction technology companies, the new emerging technologies, are better on this. They know that this is the way to move forward and make themselves put them on the market. So, how companies are getting better, and maybe they're trying to succeed on different ways. Let's take a look of Arni's view on this.
Let's go.
Noticed that many times we forget communication totally. So any change in the industry or in a company requires communication. And there are so many things going on in the industry. Like, for example, we have last year over 5 billion euros invested in construction technology startups. But oftentimes we don't hear enough about what's going on, and how and those startups, for example, they struggle to communicate. So that's something that I just want to help companies get the word out, and be seen globally, because I think that construction technology specifically is a global. It's a global. It has a global market. So, what if you develop a software or methods or tools? You can basically use them anywhere in the world. It's much like an excavator, for example. We see the same brands everywhere in the world. Yeah, I think that unfortunately many people who are really technical, they try to communicate with their peers, other tech enthusiasts. So I think it's a really difficult. I think that we need people who actually understand both the business side and the technology side to be as a mediator to these companies. So, but of course, everybody should be able to communicate. One thing that unfortunately, whenever we see, let's say, mass media communicate about construction, it's mostly always, it's either it's a new project, maybe somebody announces a new project, but most of the time it's like negative news. Something bad happened. There is some problem. So it's very problem centered, this communication outside the industry. So because we are not communicating, the media takes the role of communicating for us, and that communication is negative. So I would advise that even though you're a really technical person, if you need help, then you can turn to somebody who's actually able to translate what you're saying into something that others can also learn, understand.
This is what we are trying to do, translate the all of the AEC industry into the EEC industry into the easy understandable blocks. First for me, then the rest for the rest of the world. But one thing which I like it again. This is as you mentioned. I really like the whole discussion with Aarni. But one of the key elements here, he was mentioning about the multidisciplinary and that we need to get the people who just know the subject better. It sounds obvious, but in the construction industry, really, we have a tendency of saying that we know everything already. So interesting.
Yeah, and then you analyze your projects. You're doing things the same way, committing the same mistakes, or different way and committing different mistakes all along. So it's not really the correct answer. And also, let me point out here that when Aarni also mentioned that the communication is very problem solve focused. We have a problem that we need to communicate, we need to give explanation. It's not only that, we can also take good stories and share other news and just be neutral. So it's not always solving problem issues. Well, let's move on, and we are going to take again the path of the technology in the construction. Why is needed, and what are the things that are coming to the market to be also to stay, and solve the construction industry. Let's see what is Aarni's view on this, and we comment afterwards.
When you're talking about technology in the industry, it's like you're like fixing a leaking roof with buckets. So you're just finding a problem, and then you try to find a tool to fix that problem locally, and that's the problem, because we very often we don't think further. We just like to digitalize or digitize the existing thing that we're doing. Instead of having a paper form, we are having an iPad on the side with the same form, but it's not just digital. So I think that's the most typical way of using technology even today. But the most, as I think I said earlier, the most popular things nowadays are related to quality, safety, document management, or file management, like CDEs, or common data environments, integrated data environments, and progress reporting. And the most popular tools that I've seen are basically mobile tools that you use on a site to record some quality inspection or safety inspection observations. And also, increasingly, we are now seeing cameras used on construction sites, so you can remotely or even remotely for example, if you're a designer or a client or a general contractor, you can remotely monitor the progress of the construction project, and also you get a record of what's happened on the site. So what I think what we will see in the future more and more will be what we call situational awareness. So everybody on the site and outside the site, also in offices, will know exactly what has happened on the site, on the project, what has happened, what's going on right now, and what's going to be happening next, and also getting some sort of an idea if we can see any progress that would jeopardize, for example, the budget or the schedule of the project. So I think that these situational awareness technologies, they are a collection of several technologies. They will be really important in the future. So it's not. I wouldn't say that it's just robots roaming around the sites, but more like information and data that is up to date and spread throughout the project. I think that is the most important technologies.
So I
So
think you get to
basically,
use
be
right
able
now
to monitor.
cutting. Say it again.
This is this is the technology how it's being going to be used in the future, and what it sees Arni is to be able to monitor everything that happens on the site, on the office, on your computer. You won't need the need to know what happened on room number 3 on the 3rd floor. There will be some virtual reality, AI, or reality capture, whatever is going to tell you what actually happened, if it has been done or not. So this process of monitoring and checking is what is technology is tackling mostly.
Yeah, we will be talking about this in the season 4, so just do not discuss it right now. So.
Fantastic. Well, so we have a very short last clip to finish today's interview, and it's very interesting because it's gonna also serve to introduce our future topic. And as I said, 2 episodes to go to close the season in here at the BIM Cafe. So we're gonna get ready for the next one, okay? And let's take a look of Arni, what he thinks about the big hype of the AI in the industry.
In this industry, the initiatives are so spread out thinly across all the players that
Correct.
there is no just one key player who can say what to do. So instead of having really well constructed processes and hierarchies and so on, we are a really dispersed industry, and that's maybe one of the reasons why everybody has their own interest, but the common interest is unclear. Unfortunately, yeah, every new thing that I've seen in the construction industry has taken at least 10 years to realize. So in terms of AI, I think that as a key technology, that will certainly be also, we will see an abundance of AI powered startups in construction technology context in the future. So I think those will be plenty. And how to use AI in this industry, of course, in planning projects. Project planning is one of the areas. For example, Alice is one of those companies, Alice Technologies, that is doing that. And generative AI maybe for architects in the future, that is possible. But more, and also during the construction project, monitoring the project and giving predictions of what's going to be happening, instead of reactive management, a little bit more like proactive management. I think
That's proactive management. It's something which is good. One of the things which I also agree, we will see a lot of failing companies soon, especially on the construction industry. So I think he really pointed bullseye on in the way how the market will go. I was really surprised when he was mentioned before. It's this 10-year cycle. I think it's really getting shorter right now, but maybe still in the construction, it's still 10. I don't know.
Yeah, probably this is something we discussed also with Andrew Victory. You remember a few episodes ago about the different horizons and how on the with the AI the things are getting shorter. 6 months of learning of development seems like a 4 years in other industry for so. As I said, this is very promising, and those contact technologies in construction industry, the new companies, Arnie also point out that they're going to be the rising stars of the of the new era of the technology because they're getting all the fundings. This is where we're going to put our focus for the next seasons, next episodes as well. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about how the new technologies can implement to the market and get into this path for what is coming.
So that was it, in fact, I believe.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. I'm sorry, I have a bit of delay with my sound, so that's why I think I'm gonna give you Peter the room to say the closing the closing sentence.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate the time which you spent. So just thank you. We are just a little bit over time right now. So just once more, thank you for being with us. If you wish to make some comments, please do. Do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube and to also just to go together with us on the LinkedIn newsletter. That will be fantastic. I think what we would like to do, I think, is just talk about the next week. I think we'll have the good guest as well and the good discussion. Tommy, right? Do you want to give it a 2 week
Excellent.
about it, Enrique?
Exactly. Yeah, we are having the pleasure to host Tommy Cook from Buildos, a company who is implementing the AI on the construction industry, and he's gonna come along to explain us what they do and what his vision on the construction. So directly, someone who is working with AI in construction will come to the BIM Cafe to talk about that. So it's a opportunity you guys cannot miss to know how the things are happening. As I said, it's gonna serve as an appetizer for what is coming next at the BIM Cafe, how we're gonna focus on these technologies.
Very good, guys. Thank you very much. Have a happy Friday. Have a happy voice, and don't delay anymore of Enrique on the next streaming. Thank you, guys, for watching us. Thank you for being with us, and talk to you next week. Or let's just listen to us next week, please.
Yeah, listen to us.
Have a happy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye bye.